Most people think the story of the baby in yellow ends when the babysitter escapes. The baby is gone. The nightmare is over. And everyone lives happily ever after. But what if that's not what happened? What if the babysitter never truly escaped? What if the baby didn't disappear? What if he simply needed more time? Because if you've played the baby in yellow, you know one thing for sure. That wasn't a normal child. He could teleport, control objects, open portals, and somehow manipulate reality itself. But despite all of that, he was still just a baby. And that raises a terrifying question. What would happen if a creature like that actually grew up? Today we're going to explore a horrifying possibility. A future where the baby in yellow survives. A future where he becomes an adult. And a future where humanity realizes far too late that they were never dealing with a child. They were raising a god. Before we begin, I want you to imagine something. You're sitting alone at home. It's late at night. You hear a knock at your door. When you open it, nobody is there. Just a single photograph. And in that photograph is a child wearing yellow. Would you keep looking? Or would you run? Let me know in the comments. Because our story begins exactly 10 years after the events of the game. Nobody knew where the baby went. The police never found him. The babysitter vanished shortly after giving her statement. The house was abandoned. The case was forgotten. Eventually, people stopped talking about it. Just another strange story on the internet. A creepy urban legend. Nothing more. At least, that's what everyone believed. But hundreds of miles away, something impossible was happening. In a small town hidden between mountains, residents began reporting unusual events. Lights turning on by themselves. Animals disappearing. People hearing children's laughter in empty buildings. Strange symbols appearing on walls. And perhaps the most disturbing report of all, multiple witnesses claimed they had seen a teenage boy wandering through town late at night. A boy wearing bright yellow clothes. A boy with glowing eyes. A boy who never spoke. At first, nobody connected the incidents. But then people started disappearing. The first victim was a school teacher. One morning, she simply never arrived at work. Her car was found. Her house was untouched. There were no signs of violence. No evidence of kidnapping. Nothing. It was as though she had stepped out of existence. Then another person disappeared. And another. And another. Within 3 months, 12 people had vanished. No clues. No suspects. No bodies. And then something strange happened. A security camera finally captured the mysterious teenager. The footage lasted only 6 seconds. But it changed everything. The boy was standing in the middle of an empty street. Motionless. Watching the camera. Then he smiled. And every electronic device within 50 meters suddenly shut down. The video ended. When investigators reviewed the footage frame by frame, they discovered something terrifying. The boy's eyes weren't human. For a fraction of a second, they appeared completely black, just like the baby in yellow. At that moment, an old case file was reopened. A forgotten report, a forgotten house, and a forgotten child. The authorities finally realized something impossible. The baby had never died. The baby had never disappeared. The baby had grown up. And if that was true, then the world had a much bigger problem than a missing persons case, because nobody knew what he was capable of now. A special investigation team was assembled. Their goal was simple: find the teenager, determine what he was, and stop him before more people disappeared. The operation was led by a former investigator named Marcus. Years earlier, Marcus had studied the original baby in yellow case. Unlike everyone else, he never believed the official explanation. Deep down, he knew something was still out there. Waiting, watching, growing, and now he finally had proof. The investigation quickly uncovered a disturbing pattern. Every location visited by the mysterious teenager had one thing in common: ancient symbols. The same symbols found throughout the original game. The same symbols linked to an entity known as the King in Yellow. A being older than recorded history. A being worshipped by secret cults for centuries. A being believed to exist beyond reality itself. Marcus realized something horrifying. The baby wasn't possessed by the King in Yellow. The baby wasn't serving him. The baby was becoming him. The team tracked the teenager to an abandoned hospital. Witnesses reported strange lights inside, children's voices echoing through empty hallways, and entire rooms appearing where none should exist. When the investigators entered the building, they immediately knew something was wrong. The hospital was bigger on the inside. Hallways stretched endlessly. Doors led to impossible places. Time itself seemed distorted. One officer entered a room for 5 minutes. When he returned, his watch showed 3 days had passed. Panic spread through the team, but Marcus continued forward, because he knew the teenager was close. And then, they found him. He was sitting alone in a waiting room, reading a children's book, exactly like the baby used to. For several moments, nobody moved. Nobody spoke. The teenager slowly looked up and smiled. The same smile. The exact same smile. Every officer immediately felt a wave of fear unlike anything they had ever experienced. Not fear of death. Something worse. Fear of being forgotten. Fear of ceasing to exist. The teenager finally spoke, and those were the first recorded words anyone had ever heard from him. He said, "I've been waiting." The lights exploded. The walls twisted. Reality began collapsing around them. And for the first time, the investigators understood the truth. The teenager wasn't hiding from humanity. He wasn't running. He wasn't surviving. He was preparing for something much bigger. Something that had been planned since the day he was born. Marcus survived the hospital. Most of the others did not. Those who escaped described impossible things. Entire rooms vanishing. People turning into shadows. Memories being erased. The government immediately classified everything. But it was already too late, because the teenager had finally begun moving openly. Around the world, strange events increased dramatically. Cities reported mass hallucinations. Millions experienced the same nightmare. A giant figure standing beneath a yellow sky. Watching. Waiting. Smiling. And every night the dreams became stronger. Scientists couldn't explain it. Religious leaders couldn't explain it. Governments couldn't explain it. The teenager wasn't attacking humanity. He was changing it. Slowly. Patiently. Like a gardener planting seeds. And then the first portal appeared. A massive tear in reality above the ocean. Millions watched it open live on television. And from inside came something impossible. Not monsters. Not aliens. Not demons. A different world. A world ruled by yellow skies. A world where the laws of reality no longer applied. A world that had been trying to enter ours for centuries. Marcus realized the truth too late. The baby had never been the threat. The baby had been the key. The doorway. The bridge between worlds. Everything that happened in the game. Every supernatural event. Every disappearance. Every symbol. Had all been leading toward this moment. The day he became old enough to unlock the gate completely. As chaos spread across the planet, Marcus received one final message. A photograph. In the image stood the grown-up baby in yellow. Behind him stretched an endless yellow city. And written beneath the picture were 6 simple words. We were never raising a child. We were raising a king. And that brings us to the most disturbing question of all. What if this wasn't the end? What if the baby in yellow is still growing? Because if he became this powerful as a teenager, what would happen when he finally reaches his full potential? And more importantly, would anyone be left alive to find out? If you enjoyed this story, tell me in the comments. What horror game character should grow up next? And what do you think the baby in yellow would become in another 10 years?